Hey guys, what's up? All right. It's Double Deuce back with an update on the Cison FG-9VT chopper build. So, I built a gas tank and I built an exhaust system. And yeah, the gas tank wasn't easy, but it's still in the larva stage, I'll put it that way. So, let's get to the video and I'll show you the update on that. And here we go. Okay, so here's what I got. I built like a coffin style fuel tank for it, and I added a fender, and then I kind of custom bent an exhaust system for it out of 5/16 fuel line you can buy at your local parts store. And I was not going to make this a live tank. I was going to have another tank back here. That way you could change it out in case, you know, this here would be really hard to clean out. You won't be able to see inside it. But I think it'll be okay for what I'm going to use it for. But, so, building the exhaust on the thing, it was, not to say tricky. You just start off with one bend. I started off with this bend and this bend, okay? And then from there, I kind of roughed out where I want it to be, and then as you see here, I use my little marker and I put marks of where it needs to bend, you know, where I need to bend it. And so this is the bender I'm using. This was actually, I got this from Matco Tools, and you can probably buy these online. The part number is MST470FH, and it does 1/4 inch, 3/16 and 3/8, or 5/16. I'm sorry, 1/4 inch, 5/16 and 3/8. And so for your bigger lines, but you get some nice, good, tight turns out of these things, and which really helped me out on this, being it's a small scale. You need those tight bends to make it look real. So. Anyways, the engine runs awesome. This thing is, it's amazing. Out of the box, this engine, it just like blows me away with the quality of this engine. I haven't got a drive chain yet for it, but it's coming. I still haven't figured out if I'm going to make a jack shaft back here and then bring a chain from there back. I don't know yet. Opening all this up gave me extra room. I am going to put the CDI unit like right under here probably, you know, and then wire everything else in. Now I don't know, I could probably move this straight to the you know, your trigger, but I don't know if adding anything to this will make it fire delayed or not. I don't know if shortening this will advance it. I don't know, you know, but I'm gonna try it. That way there I can keep the CDI box away from the heat of the engine. And I'm going to try to do something about the vibration back here. So I might put a foam pad here to keep the vibration down. So now on the mufflers itself, these are just your airsoft CO2 cartridges. I got a guy who he fires, you know, he does guns there. Dave Gass is his channel. He's one of my good buddies from years back, and so he does a gun channel and that kind of everything else. But so I asked him to bring me some empty CO2 cartridges, so he did, and I cut them off and made some mufflers for it and added them to the pipe. And as I was bending them, I fractured the tubing, so I got to weld this week sometime. And, you know, so then the exhaust will be pretty much done except for the top here. I got to figure out some way to clamp this, because what I did was I cut the copper tubing off about here and here and just put it in there. And, you know, then I'll run my exhaust. I'll have that taken care of. And I'll probably paint this high temp black. I don't know about, I don't have the means to get anything chrome plated right now. And bending stainless tubing is extremely hard. But get this out of the way here, because now on the tank itself, I don't have a vent yet. because I had such a hard time. I used a MIG welder on this and MIG welded this all together, and it was still porous on the seams. And there's just like, you put it in water and put air pressure to it, there's a million little bubbles. And so I went back over it with some, it's kind of like a metal bond. I coated it with that. I don't know how the gasoline's going to work with that. It should resist it now that it's hard. But then I bought these online a long time ago for my Skyline. This is just your little fuel petcock for your boats or airplanes. It has a small little rubber seal on it and a tube that comes in there, and you just push it in there and it seals it. So I'm going to make a nice gasket for the back of it, and I'll set that on top in the tank. So it'll sit down flush on this. And then from there, there's a lot of, I got a million things in my mind here on this thing. Some things I do want to change, some things I don't want to change yet until I have to. Like I say, the forks themselves are going to be set up with some stainless rod where I can try to polish them. And one thing I didn't think about was your throttle on this. So this is a piece of 1/4-inch tubing, and it slides over to 3/16 really nice, and it turns pretty freely. So, and it's not really loose. So what I might do is try to figure out some kind of a cable set up to this. Maybe one of those air-on cables from the airplanes or something, and go from there. And I did buy some of these. I buy all my hardware by the bags. So I had some of these 4mm acorn nuts here that I'm going to use on top the forks right here. I'm just going to put 4mm studs coming out here, because right now they just got a couple of 5mm screws in there. So that way there I can weld them to the tubing when I do the tubing, and I can have some stainless polished acorn nuts on the top here, kind of give them a little character. Now on the exhaust system here, when you cut these off on the end, one thing I kind of stumbled across, these are awesome little, like, you can make headlight buckets out of them, you know what I mean? So maybe a couple of Bruiser headlights or some kind of a Tamiya headlight cover will fit into that, or over top of it, cap over it, and it'll set kind of right out here somewhere, you know what I mean? So I got a headlight going on there. So one thing I did want to touch on is the starter bearing in these engines. Okay, there's been a lot of complaints about them and everything else, and they don't last more than a couple of starts. But here's what I do. All right, being that I haven't really got this thing set up yet, I did see on Facebook that they were coming up with an electric start motor for this. If they do that, that'd be great. That way we could kind of eliminate this. I did see they had a brushless motor on here, on this side, for the flywheel side. But they had also a brush motor in here, in this little cavity over here. So that would be cool. But for now, put this in there and just tilt up, just hold your drill up, just tilt it at an angle and let it turn. The bearing's no good anyway, so you're not going to really hurt nothing. You can always, if you want to save the bearing, but it's going to be difficult to put this in at a straight angle every single time without some kind of a guide to keep this thing from going all over the place. So what it does, it wipes the bearing out. So when you put this in your drill, put it in, tilt the drill up a little bit and turn it. And actually, I'll give you an example right now. I'll put this in. Had to work on my lawnmower today, so I'm way behind on my videos. Got to get that thing up and running. Now, make sure it goes counterclockwise. You put it in. There's nothing. You tilt it up, and it turns it. And when it starts, you just let it go, let it fire up. So that's what I've been doing. It's a simple free fix. No problems there. And you know, as I keep building, you know, like I say, it's been really busy at work, so I haven't had a lot of time to do many things to it. I haven't got to my machining my front wheel yet, but I will get to that. As you can see, this thing stands up pretty good, and the gas tank itself looks pretty cool. You know, has a nice coffin shape to it, and it bolts the front and the back. What I did basically is I just welded a couple of wiring eyelets on there to bolt the tank down, and it holds it down pretty sturdy. And back here, if you notice, I got a big space here. You know, a lot of space there between that and the back tire, because I made this adjustable, so it'll go back and forth depending on the length of my chain and the size of my sprockets and all that. And so when I do put this kind of in a visual, this is what I do. I tack weld it together. Now from there I will make a bracket that goes underneath the fender, probably around the outsides here, like the 3/16 brake tubing, to follow this out to give it a rounded edge. And then I'll be able to make the fender adjustable on that bracket, so I can move it so I have a nice look to the bike. Now when you're building something like this, you want that you know, you want that attitude, you know what I mean? You want that look where it's got that, you know, just a little bit of attitude is all you need. And has a nice shape to the bike, comes down, has some nice forks on it. And like you say, with the fatty tire on the back, it's pretty stable. Now I do know I will run into balancing issues down the road, but even turning right now, the bike, you know, it does rock. And standing on its own, it's pretty stable on its own. So I know when you put it in perpetual motion, things change suddenly, and we'll see how that goes. But so that's the update on the bike. You know, it's like for everybody wanted to see the, you know, they wanted me to do a live fuel tank, so I did. And I couldn't live with the tiny exhaust. I had to put some big exhaust on there. It gave it a nice, kind of some eye candy. And so we'll go from there. So let me know what you guys think. My next video, I will be talking about the new Toyin V800 engine. I did learn quite a bit about that engine. I've learned some facts from Sterling Kit and everything else over time, and I think you'll be really amazed on the quality of this engine. So I was really impressed when I read up on some of the stuff. So that will be my next video, and we'll take it from there. So okay guys, like, share, subscribe if you want. Stay safe, and I will catch you later, man. Adios.